Hey, welcome back, gang. Thanks for joining us today, the Vols for Life podcast. I'm your host, Tim. This is my brother, Bob.
hmm
Thanks for joining us today. We've got a lot to jump into, Bob. It's the first first week of the fall practice, pretty much in the books. We've got a scrimmage behind us.
Yep.
Um, this is moving right along now, and there's a lot to talk about, not just for now, but moving forward over this coming week, what we need to see and everything. But first, in the comments, if what you've heard so far this week makes you feel a bit more optimistic, you feel better about this team from what you've heard so far, put it down there. If you think we're struggling, going to be worse than what you thought, put worse. And by some chance, if you just like kind of like I am, honestly, I think it's just too early to tell. Just put too early to tell
Yeah.
down in the comments, and of course, hit that like, subscribe button. Really appreciate it. We've finally got to 1,000 subscribers.
Thank you guys for that.
Oh, absolutely. Actually have the ability to pay for some of the stuff you bought, Bob. So if anybody wants to put a little super chat, I think that's an option is available now. Uh, and memberships are available now,
Right.
which we've not decided how we're going to work that quite yet, but they are available.
Right.
Uh, but Bob, let's kind of talk about, I guess, the scrimmage in particular, but the first week in general to start with.
Well, Tim, as far as the scrimmage goes, it was kind of about what I would imagine. I mean, if you was to tell me, kind of predict what the storyline would be, who did good, who did bad, as far as a group goes, it would probably go about what way it went. Um, the defense head of the offense, which they always are in the first scrimmage. I mean,
Yeah, it seems like every year in every team, it's always the defense has the leg up, particularly when it comes to offensive passing game is a bit behind, which from what it sounded like today, it was definitely the case.
right. And, hopefully it makes big strides. It better because I really think that is my biggest concern on this team by far is the passing game. And I think we've said on this channel several times that the wide receiver group is probably my biggest concern from a playing ability and a numbers. And what do we have on the situation we have right now? We're thin at that position with two starters not starting today. Uh, but the big news, most people want to know is how did the quarterbacks perform? And not great. McIntyre had probably a pretty good day overall, but he was going against the twos and threes, much like he did in the spring.
Hmm.
Now, I swear I believe if that boy weighed 20 more pounds, he might be your leading the group right now.
Yeah, particularly if he was a year older and had a year in the weight room, he would be your guy.
I think so. I mean, but now still may be in it. Right now he's running third, but that may change after
I,
this
I've
scrimmage.
got a feeling we thought that 1 and 2 may separate from 3, and it looks like the opposite's happened. I
Right.
think 3 has tightened it up.
I think that's the way. Yeah, I agree with that. Aguilar probably had the second best day of the three,
Yeah. The
but
big news was he threw a touchdown pass, Bob,
yeah, to our defense.
to the defense, yes.
And all the
Hell, I can do that.
right, uh, all the worry about him coming in was throwing picks, and what do you do? Throw a pick six. So
Which I'm honestly sure it happens more than what we ever hear about. But
yeah,
you hear about it, people just go, "Oh God, look here, the sky's falling," and
right,
um, and it could be something to worry about, and it could not be.
right. And Merklinger had probably the roughest day of the three, from what we've heard in the scrimmage. Now, I don't want to say that without saying something good, so let's say something good. Uh, on the bright side is
Defense looked good.
defense looked really good, and the offensive line looked very good, especially run blocking. Apparently, it looked very well, and we was having to run the ball pretty good against this salty defense.
Yeah, and this defense, honestly, the more I'm watching it, I've got a feeling it's going to be better than last year's defense. Uh, Offensive line protection wise, I think we're still in a work of progress there,
Mhm.
which shouldn't be a real surprised because so much of offensive line is cohesion, and we were replacing 4 starters.
Right. Yeah. Uh, as far as who started on the offensive line, that's been a lot of people's questions about. You had Hurd at left tackle and Moy at left guard. Satterwhite got to start at center, and right guard was Jesse Perry, who has been who might be the fall practice MVP possibly, and David Sanders at right tackle. Now, Satterwhite started at center, but Pendleton may get that spot, Tim. He's a little banged up. If I was to put money on it right now, I think Pendleton wins that spot. But it's still up in the air, I feel like.
Well, it is, but going back to Perry, coaches all the time will tell you, go there's a spot open, go grab that spot, go grab that spot, and so much of it, sometimes it gets the person gets it by default.
Yeah.
Don't believe it's the case with Jesse Perry. I think this young man is going to be a Vol legend before he gets out of there. I see him being a 10-year NFL guy. He's added 50 pounds since he got there. He's like 6'6". He came in at 270. Now he's up to 320.
Right. That's good waiting for him.
And they say he just looks fantastic. Super smart kid.
I really love our guard play, Wendell Moy and Perry. I think they're going to do really great things for us. I think that unit in general is just going to be better than it was last year. And that's saying something considering we lost, 4 guys. And a lot of the national people out there, Tim, that's one of their talking points for this team not being good. I've seen 2 different national guys this week not have us in the top 25. Joe Klatt.
No surprise. Big Ten homer extraordinaire.
Hates the SEC. If you ever listen to anything he says, I guarantee you it's going to be negative toward the SEC in general.
He's
loves Big Ten teams, but I think as much as he loves Big Ten, I think he hates SEC. I think what it is more than anything.
See, I think it's a 10 out of 10 that he loves the Big Ten, and a 8 out of 10 that he hates SEC. He's the biggest Big Ten homer I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's got Penn State winning it all this year. Which I will say, I looked at their schedule and pretty much they just got to roll the ball out there and win
10 games.
Yeah, as long as they can beat, the Indiana.
They got Oregon and Ohio State's the only real 2 teams on their schedule.
And they got open dates before they play each one of them.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty nice little gift there they gave them on that one. But they don't have Tennessee. He didn't have Tennessee in the top 25, and neither did McElroy, the old Alabama quarterback. He didn't have Tennessee in his top 25 either.
Well, let me say this too: the great Phil Steele, who puts out the preeminent magazine out there, even in 2025, he predicted Tennessee to run for about 2,000 yards this year because of all those offensive linemen we lost. And I hate to break it to you, Phil, he hasn't. Heupel hasn't run for less than 2,500 since he got here, and he ain't going to do it this year either, bud.
Yeah.
So get on board.
Right.
Our running game's going to be legit.
Right. But what else we saw from scrimmage town as far as not us, but what we've heard rumors was probably a bright spot though was the tight end play by the freshman Brown.
I'll tell you what, the tight ends really all fall practice has been the talk of camp, and it carried over into today's scrimmage. This is going to be maybe the best tight end group we've had down there, and I think you told me once, Bob, that you think that this will be the most catches a tight end group gets in a year in your lifetime.
Yes, I agree. Since I've been watching Tennessee football since about 1983, and I think there'll be more catches by tight end this year. And I'll go on another little prediction, Tim. I'm gonna say our top 4 tight ends. I think they'll all get drafted in the NFL draft whenever they're eligible.
Well, now that is projecting quite a bit out there, Bob, but I'm not going to argue with you on this group.
Yeah, I think Brom and Van Dorselaar, I probably jacked his last name up too. I think.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll handle the other 2. Okay, Davis.
Yeah, You got the easy one, cancel one. Yeah.
I was going to say Miles because I
Yeah.
really don't handle the last name.
But I think the tight ends have looked really good, not just in the scrimmage, but in fall practice in general. I really suspect to get a big dose of those throughout. Uh, in the scrimmage, Tim, I don't think we mentioned this yet. Another bright spot was we ran the ball really well.
Well, we have talked a little bit about that when it comes off his line, but we haven't really talked about the running backs. And one in particular kind of made a name for himself today.
Yeah, Star Thomas, the transfer from Duke, guy who was clearly number 3 on the depth chart, has had a good day today.
Yeah, and he may still be number 3.
The
question I think before that was, was we're going to have a 2-back rotation or a 3-back rotation, and I think he's making the case for a 3-back rotation. His highlights out of Duke, I thought looked very good.
Mm-hmm.
Everything told me, just watching that, says, hey, he can be effective in this offense.
Yeah.
But coming out of spring, I think he might have been swimming a little bit in over his head for a while. But looks like he's hit the ground running in the fall, and had a real little scrimmage start the week off, or end the week.
2 more guys, Tim, who had really strong scrimmages was Caleb Herring at the Leo spot and Tyree West. And West, it's interesting that he had a really good scrimmage because the 2 guys he's fighting for in a starting job there had high praise from Garner this week. Weathersby and Bailey both get high praise from Garner, which is kind of rare. He don't give out praise very often.
No, he don't handle that like candy. He's not William Inge. Let me tell you.
Yeah, they're 2 opposites right there.
That's polar opposites right there. But you are correct. He talked about Weathersby, obviously, coming back from the injury. Had a devastating hip injury 2 years ago, Bob.
Yeah.
Was able to play some last year, but let's face it, he was back, but he was not back.
Yeah, he really was.
Tyree Weathersby, though, I think could be a dominant defensive end before he leaves there.
Yeah. You've talked about him several times on this channel as a guy who we suspect to have a huge career down there. So we look really good at that position. And
before you go, Don Bailey, Garner was calling him possibly the MVP.
Yeah, yeah, that's saying something right there. And then you have the 4th guy in that room, Marion Dye, the true freshman. Some people had as a 5-star, and the fact that they are mentioning him in the same breath as 3 guys who look to be very good is saying something about his future.
Yeah, sky's the limit for him. He's got everything you look for. He's got that natural size that you want over there. He's got the athletic ability. He's a guy that's a little raw. I think Garner's going to shine him up a little bit, though. He'll have him sparkling before he gets out there. But that's a strong side defensive end, Bob. And you mentioned Herring over as a Leo. Had a good camp from what I'm hearing.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you another guy that's got a little bit of buzz is Jordan Ross, the former 5-star defensive end. Rumor has it he was kind of, didn't take things too seriously.
Yes, well, it wasn't a rumor. That was Garner.
Right. He didn't take things too seriously at the beginning when he first came in there, and he said it was just basically because of, he just didn't see a path for him playing as a freshman, and he had too many really good defensive ends in front of him. So he's taking things a lot more seriously, and I would love to see him out there because when you watch him run around, we've talked about it many times on this channel, you see certain guys run around out there, whether they're backups or starters, and they just look different. He looks different. I mean, I remember last year when he blocked that punt, I thought, was that a safety? No, that was one of our Leos, So that guy's got some talent. You can tell why he was such highly rated.
Yeah, and a name that I was happy to see mentioned this week, not in the scrimmage though. This week has been Emmanuel Okoye, who's a long-term project. But the Nigerian nightmare eventually, I believe, for some people, to steal a moniker.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see him maybe get on and play a little bit this year.
He's somebody I've been kind of high on, Tim, after watching him in spring practice. He doesn't really know what he's doing. He's played very little football
Now, some people say 2 seasons, but that's not actually accurate.
because of injuries
Well, no.
and the fact that he didn't play any high
Well,
school.
I'm just talking about on the
Oh,
high
I
school level.
got you.
Some people say he played 2 years, but he didn't. He went to London,
Yeah.
straight where he first even seen football, basically. And they had 2 seasons, but they were like within a month or two of each other.
Oh,
Yeah, and they were playing on fields that didn't even have yard markers. I mean,
yeah,
it
it's
was
totally different from American football. It was,
well, it was American football. It was NFL football. I mean,
yeah,
NFL
it
in Europe,
looked
but
way different when you
yeah,
were looking at the different fields and stuff. I mean, it was honestly, it looked almost like a different game watching them when they was doing like kickoffs and stuff. It
yeah.
was different. And he was on the kickoff team. I remember one thing about it. He blew up a guy on one of the plays. Uh, I think two other names has been mentioned in fall camp. That's made me feel better about this team, Tim. It's two guys that won't start, but get a lot of playing time that will help us as far as depth goes at a position I thought we might be a little thin at one time. And that's Nathan Robinson and Jamal Wallace, two guys who we kind of had wrote off due to injuries, and both guys looked like they made very well be major contributors.
Well, Jamal Wallace, someone who come within a hire of having a medically registered because of a neck injury, and he needs all the reps he can get because basically just a couple of years ago, going into JUCO, he was like a safety, and then he moved to linebacker,
Yeah,
and then he moved to technically defensive end, but he never put a hand on the ground. I mean,
yeah,
he was just there. He's like, go get the ball.
yeah. It kind of reminds me. His path kind of reminds me of Billy Ratliff, for the great Billy Ratliff, that one of the MVPs of our national championship here. A guy who started off much smaller
Well,
and
for
got
this
bigger.
team, Bryson Eason
Yeah,
was a linebacker in high school.
yeah,
Defensive end when after he got here, they moved over to defensive end. They defensive tackle.
just kept gaining weight.
Yeah. Um, and speaking of Eason, like I say, he's taking a little bit more of a leadership role this year. But
Hmm.
really, the leaders in that defensive tackle room though is Moy, Jackson Moy, and he's one of the leaders on the team, I believe. But
Yeah,
I'm really excited about seeing David Hobbs.
yeah,
Those three are obviously our bread and butter.
right.
Um, and we didn't mention our our transfer Snell
Right.
and the two freshmen, Bob.
Yeah. Ethan Utley and Campbell, both two guys who future stars.
Turned heads in spring ball right off the bat.
Two guys who I think they're going to have to play, and just because that their talent is going to force them to play. But I don't see them guys getting 6, 7, 8, 9 reps in a row. I think they're a little bit on the small size, but those guys are going to play and they're going to show out, I do believe. Going on back to the defensive side, Tim, as far as
Backs.
defensive backs, as far as buzz goes, Hood, the transfer from Colorado, has probably gotten the most buzz in that group. He's looked really good, and true freshman Tyler Redmond has looked really good too. Um,
Yeah, and he's at one of the corner spots also.
yeah. Two other guys that I'd have to mention as far as getting some buzz is Farouk and Caleb Beasley at safety. Turrentine's definitely going to have to pay attention, because otherwise one of those guys is going to take his spot. One of them's going to be a starter, and the other guy might take Turrentine's position.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people talk about, which of those guys are going to get the spot opposite of Turntine. By the end of the year, though, it might be you may see more Farouk and Beasley on the field than Turntine and whomever.
Flip back over to the offensive side, Tim. A wide receiver that we've heard a little bit of buzz about is Amari Jefferson. He was a guy who was on the thin line there of being kind of a forgotten man there for a little
Well, it
bit.
was really the only buzz he had made up to this point was from the fact there was no buzz.
Yeah,
I mean, it was like you'd hear about everyone else, but it's like, what about Amari Jefferson? And all you hear is non-factor, non-factor,
yeah,
non-factor. And he showed signs of life this week.
yeah. That was needed because we really need
Every breathing person in that room
that room. Yeah.
needs to be ready to play because we are thin and we are brittle.
Yes. Honestly, Tim, and you talked about it earlier in the week. I felt like we probably should have kept either Nimrod or Webb, one of them two guys, because one of those two guys probably would be starting this year for us, at least some games, due to injury or something, because so far we've had some bad luck at a position that we couldn't afford to have bad luck at.
Well, they may have kept one of them had they knew they wasn't going to get anything out of the fall portal other than Jefferson.
Right.
They had their eyes on Carnell Tate once again, and they wanted to free up some money to get him.
Yeah.
And he fooled us once,
Got us twice. Yeah.
got us twice.
Yeah.
So thanks, Carnell, for nothing.
Right. Well, guys, let me ask them. What me and Tim mentioned it earlier. What's y'all's thoughts on this thing so far? I mean, we'd love to hear about it. Do you think we are, are we?
What's your opinion? Feeling better?
Yeah, I mean, better, worse,
Worse?
too early to tell. One other thing we got to do, Tim, before we get out of here is redraw for the sign. The guy that won it hasn't replied back, so we're going to redraw and see who's going to win it now because we got to give this thing to somebody. And if that person doesn't reply back, we'll give you about 3 or 4 weeks to reply back. If you don't, then we'll give it to the next person. We'll keep all the names and do a redraw again.
Yeah, and it's got a little stand if you want to put it on a table or
hang it on the wall, either way.
Or it's got a thing on the back, hang it on the wall.
Yeah, very nice sign. I'm gonna get one for myself.
You keep dropping like flies, that's Bob. It might work out that way.
Right.
Go ahead and start moving them around.
All right. Got one?
Yeah, it looks like only one.
All right.
Well, let me pick it back up, Bob. All right. Well, this is going to be a little hard to pronounce, so I may just read it, spell it. NHARLI dash, etc. in Harley, etc. We will go to your comment and we'll respond to it. And you just need to respond back to us, and we'll give you our email.
Right.
And get in touch. We'll get this thing out to you.
Yeah.
So congratulations, and I hope you like it.
Yeah. Well, that being said, Tim, I think that's words to the point. Every video we do is, go Vols.
Go Big Orange.